Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm your host, Angelica Cable, and I'm so excited to get back into the world of C.S. Lewis's Till We Have Faces. In this episode, I keep digging in to chapters 3 and 4 with Adalyn, who's 15, and Esther, who's 14. And things are really starting to shift. It's fascinating to reread a classic myth and realize that hearing it from a different perspective changes everything. So pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee, and let's unpack it.
So starting off with these chapters, Redevil gets caught lovering, I imagine kissing under a window almost with this one guy. And after that, she's stuck with Oriel, the fox, and Psyche, and it ruins the rest of their lives almost because of the things that she does. So she's stuck with them. I found it very interesting to see how Redevil was against her sisters from the myth. Oriel and Redevil were best friends and they were against Psyche. But this one, it's the opposite. Redevils versus Oriel and Psyche. And that's very interesting and very different than what I expected, and how horrible of a person Redevil is.
Yeah, she is very immodest, it seems. She likes to embarrass the fox a lot with her immodesty because he is a very modest person. And also, I think she likes to start fights because she and Oriel go at it all the time, especially about Psyche.
And Oriel has to watch her and make sure that she remains a virgin, I guess, and make sure she doesn't get in trouble. And so she has to stay with them, except that she can go to the House of Venus, or Ungit, anytime she wants to. And I think that trouble will come of that.
Yeah, what is she up to? I do not think she is a pure-hearted worshiper. I think she is up to something.
If I hadn't known more about the storyline, I would have thought she had a secret boyfriend in the priest or something. But I think she's trying to intentionally rouse Ungit against Psyche.
Yeah, maybe that will be like a major plot point.
Oh.
Because Ungit is very jealous of Psyche in the myth, but what if Redevil kind of starts that anger? I don't know.
Yeah, I had never thought. I think of Ungit as not real, you know? So I never think of her as a true character. But in the myth, she's certainly a true character. So
I think she is in this one.
what if Redevil's, stirring up the gods against Psyche? Do you have any predictions on why C.S. Lewis would change the relationship?
I wonder if he had something against Psyche. Like he thought that she was haughty and arrogant and liked her beauty a lot. He could go in that direction. Or he could go in the direction of Oriel is a victim and she didn't deserve anything.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's just trying to show how bad the stepsisters really were. I can't see how Oriel will go bad. I don't think she will.
What I was thinking was, retold stories often, it's like, oh, you may have heard one side of the story, but you haven't heard the other. That's a really big theme, especially in modern literature. And so I was wondering if he would go that way, like not everything is as it seems.
I really didn't like the first two chapters, but these 3 and 4 have been phenomenal. Phenomenally written. You start to love the characters. You start to hate characters. And yeah, it just shows you can't judge a book by its cover.
I guess, does Redevil remind you of anyone in literature?
Well, I know this one horrible person. I'm joking.
Because she's probably a typical character. Well, she's an evil stepsister, is what she is, isn't she? Cinderella.
Maybe Nancy from Oliver Twist. I don't know. Nancy was good in the end, though, so not as much. But she was a prostitute. I guess she wasn't really modest or anything. And she kind of victimized herself a little bit.
Oh, definitely victimized herself, yeah.
I want to think of her as someone who's trying to get into trouble but doesn't really know what she's getting into. Like, I think of her as very young, which I know she's much older than I am. I think she really doesn't know what she's getting herself into. She's like the bully at school that the instant the teacher walks in the room, you're going to hide. So I don't think she's fully evil.
She might instigate something that gets much bigger than she expected.
Yes, I think she's out for Psyche, not for herself. And when she gets punished in the end, Like, she'd be like, oh, I didn't know any better.
I felt for her more when she said why she would be so jealous. It was like, well, who is ever going to look at me with Psyche around?
Yes.
And that made me understand her position is actually terrible. Not just, oh, she'll get a better man than I do or a more attractive man. Nobody's going to care about Redival as long as Psyche's around. I do see how that would stir you up to more jealousy. She's going to have to be single because of her beautiful sister is what she thinks.
My only problem with that, she has no pity for her sister, who seems to be even more ugly.
Yes.
Redival is so focused on herself and wallowing in her self-pity that she doesn't see that her sister is probably going to suffer more than she is.
Yeah.
Because Oriel is ugly.
Yeah. Hideous somehow. Adalyn, what was interesting to you?
Psyche going out by herself without telling anyone into the village, which is very dangerous. You know, first of all, she's a young woman and she's beautiful. That's dangerous in itself. Second of all, she is a princess. That's even more dangerous. She could literally be kidnapped for all she knows. But anyway, she goes out and she goes to all these different people and she's trying to heal them with her touch because she's so ignorant and naive. I think she's old enough to understand these things. She's a young woman, and it's foolish that she would think that these people were gonna welcome her with open arms just because she's pretty.
I think she's a sheltered child, but it's been way over sheltered. I think that happens to lots of princesses. Of course, I've never met Princess, but in books, that's what happens to princesses.
When you started talking about her running away, I thought, oh, this is her maturing in that, well, who would ever think Psyche would run away? She's just a little girl that would just stay there. But her running away kind of shows her development. Like, she's her own person. She had her own idea and she's going to run away. But then the more you talk, actually, she's super immature too, because she ran away. So there's some reality checks that she did not get. And she even wondered, can I heal people? They say these things. Are these true about me? Which seems bizarre. But then you kind of wonder, are they true too? I don't know. As the reader, I don't know what's up with Psyche. She almost does seem like a deity.
Let's be clear. She went out of the castle to go see her wet nurse who had nursed her from childhood since her mother died. And she wanted to heal her. So she went with good intentions.
Yeah,
It was foolish, but it wasn't evil.
Yeah.
exactly. Which I wonder if this is the part of the myth where Cupid follows Psyche around for a day after Aphrodite says that she wants him to make her fall in love with an ugly monster because she's jealous. So Cupid follows her around for a day and learns that she's actually a really nice person.
Oh.
And so he ends up not making her fall in love with the monster.
And I think she is the accursed. She is the reason that there is the desolation in the land.
Oh, you think?
I feel completely certain because Redival has been sneaking away and telling Venus that she is putting herself in the place of a god. And she will get punished for that. And they're going to punish the whole land for it. So everybody's going to die.
So if Psyche's gone, the plague is gone.
Yes. And that's what's going to happen.
That's very smart.
They're gonna have to deliver her to the Grey Mountain as a sacrifice to the gods.
To appease the gods.
Yeah.
And then here comes Cupid.
Now, do you like Psyche?
No.
I have very mixed feelings about her because I don't know a lot about her, but I don't think she has bad intentions or anything. So I don't dislike her, but I don't necessarily like her very much.
And Esther, why don't you like her?
Because I like Oriel and I think she should marry the god.
Oh.
I think that Psyche's a very lucky girl who hasn't been trained well, and I don't dislike her. I just don't care for her. You know, there's nothing to make me like her yet. She's not smart. She's not wise. She's not caring.
Well, she is caring, though.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because she was walking through the people. She was like, I've got to go out there. And she's walking through the people and she's like staggering.
She almost dies.
Yeah, almost dies. I don't know if she thought she was healing people or if she was just suppressing a riot. But she almost gave her life for that. And then, like you pointed out, the reason she ran away was caring, although misguided. I think she has so many parallels to people in scripture. Can y'all see any parallels? Things Psyche's done and people in the Bible?
Jesus and Peter, who walking around and just people would touch their robes to get healed.
Her father reminded me of King Saul when he was being tormented because he knows like his kingdom is falling. Yep. Now, something you said made me think of Moses just now, and I can't remember what it was.
Oh, being raised by the woman.
Oh, the
wet
wet
nurse.
nurse. It was the wet nurse. Yeah, that's what it was. I think Psyche has some Messiah-like storyline.
Yeah.
So it's confused me because if I saw this in many books, I would think, oh, this is the person that will raise up and save the country. But I just don't think so. Just am not convinced. But if, like Adalyn said, if she's going to go be sacrificed to appease the gods, that's very Messiah-like.
She kind of reminds me of Adalyn in Lord of the Rings by her just demeanor, the way she's described, her blonde hair and her beautiful figure, and I think that's how she's going to turn into. Adalyn is described as a lily, a beautiful white lily that's frozen because of how cold she acts, just because of her hopelessness. And I can see Psyche turning into something like that. I can see the way that right now she's a beautiful flower, but she does not look like she would have any hope in the place she lives.
I think to like contrast another myth would be Helen of Troy, because she started a whole war over her beauty. So I feel like Psyche is kind of like that. I think she's kind of similar. She's kind of ignorant. These people are fighting over her. Some people hate her. Some people absolutely love her. But it's just this big, constant war over her beauty.
Yeah. Fox referenced her. Do you remember in the beginning?
Better than Helen, better than Andromeda, and better than Aphrodite, is what he said. Yeah.
So why do you like Oriole?
I think she's a genius. You know what? I think she's kind of like Isaac Milner in the fact that she's big, she's ugly, and she has a Scottish accent. But she has the makings of a genius inside of her. She obviously is better than Fox in figures. She's really good with language. She's good at reading. That's very unheard of. She's wise because she's the only one that knows this is a horrible idea for us to worship Psyche. Horrible idea. I mean, that's why I like that quote that you just referenced, Adalyn, because she knows that this was a bad idea and that Ungit will take revenge. She's God-fearing, and that's another admirable quality, even though we don't worship the same God, but I still admire her for that, and she's not an atheist. She also got to be her father's right-hand woman.
No, he treated her like a man. It was so nice. Sometimes my dad would talk to me like I was a man.
And it was really funny. He wasn't necessarily nice to me, but he wasn't mean to me. So I took it as he was treating me as a man. I really appreciated that quote.
I just overall think she will be make up for a wonderful queen. And I know that's what will happen.
And we know that from the opening paragraph.
Yep.
Remember, she does become queen. Yep. Adalyn, do you like her?
Oh, I love her. For the same reasons as Esther, but also because she's a kind person in general. She's very nice to Psyche. She raised Psyche, and she has this love for Fox. There are just so many things that she does where she shows her kindness.
Yeah. I wonder if all these surrounding characters are a contrast to Oriole. You know, like Oriole's not like Psyche because she's ugly. She's not like Medieval because, man, Medieval's terrible.
She's not like her father because she has a tame anger.
Yeah, a decent person. A decent person.
She even shows love to her father, though.
Oh my goodness. I want to talk about when Psyche said that Oriole sounded like her father.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
That was such a big turning point, I think.
So what had happened?
Okay, Psyche ran away. And then she came back. But Oriole was furious. And Psyche is just like, it's fine. I wasn't harmed. So it doesn't matter now. And besides, you sound just like father with that and that face, too. And it was just terrible. I don't think Psyche thought anything of it. I think this is also why I don't really care for Psyche very much, because she thought it was a harmless comment. But for Oriel, it was a very big deal because she knows what their father is capable of and how terrible he is. And it haunted her.
I wonder if that would help her character. Oh, she was like determined. I will not be angry like my father.
I wonder if it will put her against Psyche.
Oriel may hold that against her. Or will it make Oriel like, I know Psyche's doing wrong, but I don't really want to get on to her.
She can make these snide comments.
I don't want to like my dad, so I'll just let her go do whatever she wants. I don't know. I can't see Oriel doing that.
Because we like her.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, she's too wise for that, I think.
I think so too. Yeah. I wonder how much Oriel will turn into her father.
What if that's like the ending? Oh, look what I've become. That would be terrible. CS don't do this to us.
And I'm going to fire you from your job.
Maybe, maybe the accusation against the gods is, look what you made me become. You set this up for my downfall.
My goodness.
Because she ceased to fear them. She was the only God-fearing one, and she was the one who was punished.
What do you think will be the accusation against the gods?
I think it'll be her family falling apart because of them. The second that Redeevil came around, it started going downhill. And so if we're correct about asking Aphrodite to intervene, then the gods have destroyed Oriel's life from the inside out.
I think she's going to complain about the hurt to the people and how they're killing thousands of them a day. Though I do see in her a little heartlessness towards the people, because she's like, it would have been better if you just slaughtered them all, considering the Psyche problem.
So when Psyche went out to touch everyone, Oriel was like, you should just kill them all. Oh, no. He shot one. Was that what it was?
Isn't it that... So Psyche goes out there, a guy got unruly, and then when the king spears him, so Oriel is like, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have killed any of them, or you should have killed all of them.
Which, again, shows just his foolishness as a leader. What is the accusation against the gods is just Psyche's beauty. Like, who made her beautiful? It had to have come from the gods. Like, nobody asked for that. Her having this beauty has caused all of these problems. But I like Gail's ideas, too. Any big questions you have coming up? I'm very interested to see Cupid show up.
I want Cupid to be a hero so bad. Oh, I want him to be the greatest guy ever. And so I'm hoping that he's nice. So in the myth, the main character is Psyche, and they follow her as she goes through these bunch of different trials.
Yeah.
How are they going to do that? In here, whenever the main character is Oriel and she just sits at home.
Oh, yeah.
Which I know that the sisters thought that Psyche was dead until they were invited to her castle. So I wonder if there's going to be a big fight. What if Oriel's sitting there with all this rage pent up against Psyche because they fought?
I started wondering what about the title, Till We Have Faces. Who is we? All right, awesome. I'm glad we talked about it so we can read on. And that's where I want to leave things for today. But I'm still curious how the title will relate. And of course, the accusation against the gods that comes up every other page. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for this deep dive. And I'll see you next time for chapters 5 and 6 of Till We Have Faces.